What's a movie that should never be remade? Delete this thread before Netflix gets ideas. Plot twist: Netflix is the op. Back to the Future. Hollywood, please listen to this guy. Besides the fact that Tom Hanks was perfect, I don't see a modern remake of Forrest Gump being received well based on cultural shifts alone. I really was just gonna say any of the 80s 90s Tom Hanks films, lol. Airplane. If they made that movie today, it'd never fly. Blues Brothers and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Edit, since a lot of you are bringing up Blues Brothers 2000. That's a sequel to the Og movie, not a remake. The Princess Bride. May have some bad news for you. https://www. YouTube.com watch. V equals 29's 1U3NGKQ. Edit, I just did a search for home movie, The Princess Bride, and this was the best version I could find. It was originally on Quibi apparently. Which? What the hell is that? Right? Edit, I guess I gotta watch this myself at some point. Now. Anything by Monty Python. They can't be improved on, and the dodgy special effects only add to the humor. Are you saying coconuts migrate? Mr. Bean. No one will ever be able to recreate the character as well as Rowan Atkinson. Really, anything from Rowan Atkinson can never be remade. Blackadder, for instance. Pulp Fiction. Tarantino makes movies that I don't think anyone would even attempt to try to remake. Goodfellas. By extension. Godfather, 1. Shawshank. Alien 1979. I am surprised it hasn't been mentioned yet. It's still so good 40 plus years later. I can't just name one movie, but must state the obvious. 1. Don't remake movies that were already good and still hold up. 2. Don't remake movies that were products of their time and wouldn't translate well on this era. 3. Come up with an original movie. It's not like there aren't enough writers desperately trying to sell their scripts. Edit. 4. Ignore 1. 3. If we're replacing the cast with the Muppets. Muppet Inglourious Bastards when? Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Thank you, kind strangers, for the awards. They are my first ones here on Reddit. All of your positive discussions surrounding Tolkien have really uplifted my spirit. It's a difficult time for me, so seeing all these great comments really made my night a bit better. Beetlejuice. There's really no beating the casting of that movie as it was. Mrs. Doubtfire. Tobias nailed it though. The Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Yes, I said trilogy. Stand By Me. That combo of young actors just worked so well. And I just can't imagine it would work so well again. You guys wanna see a dead body? Cut to them opening YouTube. Roll credits. Back to the Future. Edit. Thanks for the awards and cake day wishes. I just think the original Back to the Future could never be topped. The thought of anyone other than Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd playing those roles is blasphemous to me. Not only is the casting absolutely iconic, the trilogy is fundamentally tied to the decade it was made in. The 1955 is not the real 1955, but the nostalgic view its generation had of it in 1985. While 2015 also can only exist in that context. What would it even look like today? Traveling from 2025 back into 1995? And almost every future we have in media right now is some shade of grimdark and pessimistic. You can't just do pure camp the way BTTF treated 2015. Labyrinth. I like to think that David Bowie didn't realize they were making a movie and thought it was all real. The Goonies. Jurassic Park won't feel the same. Jurassic World 1 is good, but both the JW films have bigger dinosaur scenes, so they need more CGI, and it just doesn't have the same magic as Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park has the pacing of a great sci-fi horror thriller. Jurassic World feels more action-adventure. Home Alone. I've got some bad news for you. Groundhog Day. They should re-release it and act like it's a new movie. Galaxy Quest. Casablanca. How could they remake Casablanca? Philistines. The one starring Mira Binglebert and Peter Beardsley is definitive. Red Dwarf. Better than life. The Iron Giant. I kinda feel like this could be extended to really any animated movie. Og art style of an animated movie is what makes it iconic. All of them. Hollywood should make more original shit and stop being lazy. I like what I read online many years ago. Hollywood should not remake good films. They should remake bad films. But try to fix what went wrong. Fight Club. I bet the plot twist gets revealed in every single trailer. Jaws. My immediate thought. You just won't be able to recreate the same feeling the original film gives. Plus I believe filming on the ocean is a big no-no for studios these days. Even Spielberg said he would never do it again. Triumph of the Will. The Fifth Element. Everything about it was perfect. Any of the Tremors movies. Maybe 2 could use some CGI touch-ups. I absolutely love the Tremors franchise, but I seriously wish they'd stop already, lol. My family used to watch 1, 2, and 3 often, and we still have several Tremors-based jokes. The newest one completely took me by surprise. Probably shouldn't have, but for whatever reason I thought so. Okay, so Cold Day in Hell is the last. Alright. I have to. Forrest Gump. The Shrek movies. Including the third one and Forever After. There was actually a sequel to Forrest Gump. If I remember correctly, the author would not sell the movie rights as he had a beef with the studio, as they allegedly owed him over $1 million in royalties from the first movie. But with their creative accounting, somehow the movie didn't make back its budget and he never got paid. Schindler's List. Honestly, it's the correct answer for a lot of questions. The Room. Someone might be able to remake it and make it actually good. But then it would suck because it didn't suck anymore. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Came here to find this. Gondor has no remakes. Gondor needs no remakes. Everyone talking about old movies that are timeless classics. But no one talks about the implications of certain movies. Such as American Pie. A great movie, but it's a product of its time and would be poorly received if made today or remade keeping its original story. Elf. Interestingly enough, they proposed a sequel for Elf and Will Ferrell straight up said no way, ha ha ha. Book. Such a great sequel to the origin story. Williams and Hoffman knocked it out of the park. Cult classics as a whole need to be left to stand on their own merit. I'm looking at you, Disney. The Big Lebowski. Yep, well that's just like your opinion, man. Big Trouble in Little China. It's already about as close to perfect as a movie can be and is also very much a movie of its time. 2001, A Space Odyssey. The Truman Show. Jim Carrey was the perfect actor for a movie that's both slightly comedic and tragic at the same time. That movie fucked 10-year-old me up. Made me a paranoid mess. Never fully recovered. 10/10 movie. 2/10 After Effects. Kinda recommend. The original Star Wars trilogy. Could you imagine how bad that would be? Especially if all they did was to use the original footage and just fuck with the special effects. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Scooby-Doo live-action movies, 1 and 2. I just really want the adult Scooby-Doo that the first live-action intended to be. Silence of the Lambs, one of the best storylines in movie history, and no way it can be done better than Anthony Hopkins. The Sixth Sense. Smokey and the Bandit. Mostly because it would mean some gormless pop weasel covering Eastbound and Down. Also, I don't think that there's a better Buffett T. Justice than Jackie Gleason. The Crow. I feel like it's just best to 1, leave Brandon Lee's legacy alone, and 2, don't tempt fate. Shrek. Citizen Kane. Legally Blonde. Not only can Witherspoon and Coolidge not be replaced, but it was so intrinsic to shifting social views of women at that particular time. It couldn't hit the same way today, and would end up a rich girl farce instead of pre-Alexis Rosegrowth. Remake the bad ones, leave the good one alone. The cinematic masterpiece The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Gladiator. Schindler's List. Band of Brothers. The Wire. The Marvel movies because there is already too many. Psycho. Wait. What? A while ago I had a friend who didn't believe that there was an almost shot-for-shot remake. Tropic Thunder. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Requiem for a Dream. Great movie. Watched it once. Won't watch again. Saving Private Ryan. The Naked Gun movies. They're already perfect. Stand By Me. I just can't imagine a scenario where they managed to do a remake that's anything like the original. If it were done well though, that would be cool. My favorite movie. But it couldn't be a modern version. Sort of like Super 8. It would have to be set in the same era and all that stuff too. A Stand By Me 2 where they meet up a year later and something else happens, but I highly doubt there's anybody that could write and direct that without messing it up. The Thing. The Dark Crystal. That movie was all sorts of fucked up while giving me nightmares for weeks. And I don't want the world to be subjected to any more terror than it has already experienced. The Cornetto Trilogy. The Princess Bride. Utterly perfect and should never be recast or remade. The Lost Boys.